Hi everyone, welcome to A Stitch in Time. Today is Friday, November 24th, 2023, and this is episode 272. I'm Carol, also known as Knits and Pearls on Ravelry, and I live east of Vancouver in the Fraser Valley of British Columbia, Canada, where it is a glorious sunny day today. Hope everyone's doing well, that you've had a good week since we last spoke. I've had a very full week and it's not going to let up anytime soon. In fact, looking ahead, I realized that I have something going on every day next week, which would leave me no time to record. And so even though I had planned to let another week go by, before putting out another episode, I decided I should take advantage of some free time today and record. So here I am, a week earlier than I thought I would be. Belated Happy Thanksgiving to all of my friends in the United States. I hope you had a wonderful day with friends and family, and I wish you all the best for the coming holiday season. All right. Before I show you what I've been working on, just a reminder, there are a couple of make-alongs taking place in the Ravelry group. We are approaching the end of November, so if you participated in the October Yarn of the Month Club make-along, you want to make sure that you get your finished projects posted before the end of the month. And I will draw for that and for the November chatter thread, another year of stash, in my next regular episode in December. Those make-alongs are soon coming to a close. I don't know about you, but it feels like November just whizzed by and we are fast approaching December and the end of the year. And I'm trying to wrap some things up before life starts all over again in 2024. I have been giving some thought to next year, and I've pretty well decided that we will do, I'll just have another stash thread going all year long because that seems to be very popular. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing prizes for that or if it's just a place for people to kind of post their projects. I'm going to have to think about that. But I also think I am going to divide up the rest of the year into 3-month stints of a specific kind of project, and so that will give hopefully everybody a place to hang out should they choose to do so, whether they want to participate in a more casual make-along or something a little more organized and with a few more rules and all that stuff. Let's focus on, also a reminder, sock season. Sock season is still going on. Week 9 will come out this Sunday, and I recorded week 10 this morning, which is proving to be interesting. I spread out all of my winter and holiday socks and sort of thought about maybe a fairly logical way to organize them. So many of the socks some of you may have seen last year during Vlogmas, but there are, I think, a few new ones to share with you this year. Speaking of Vlogmas, maybe this is as good a time as any to talk about that before we get into today's projects. I do not anticipate doing Vlogmas this year. For one thing, I did not purchase an Advent this year. I'm hoping I don't regret that because I've had so much fun opening them the last few years, but I still haven't used last year's yarn yet. And I have been trying to destash, although you wouldn't always realize that. Or not destash, but just use yarn from my stash. And I've had a fair bit come in this year again, and so I just thought, you know what, let's concentrate on what I have instead and work on those things in December. So I don't really have that to build it around. I'm doing the socks with sock season, so I don't really have that to show you every day. I'm not doing David's Tea Advent Calendar this year, so I don't really have any sort of Advent Calendar to help me organize the days. I find that's a good way to kind of something to feature each day. And I just don't anticipate having a whole lot of interesting things going on next month. So you never know, you may see a vlog now and then. You'll definitely see at least one, if not two, regular episodes. And sock season will continue throughout the month. So that's just the way it's gonna be this year. I'm already feeling a little frantic and I haven't even got to December yet. So I think for my own mental health, I will just enjoy watching Vlogmas instead of trying to do the work to get episodes out each day. So I hope you understand that. All right, let's get into the knitting for the week. You've seen all of these projects before. They've just all seen some progress. First up is my November Yarn of the Month Club project, which is Strandwanderer by Leah Victoria. I am knitting this shawl. It's an asymmetrical triangular shawl out of this precious skein of Wollmeise. It is the 100% merino superwash. I believe they call this pure. And it's in a very long German colorway name, which I will bring up to the screen. And it means guinea pig in German. So my assumption is that this is a one-of-a-kind or an experimental type of skein. So I'm not sure how well this showed up before. It's quite a vibrant colorway, but because there's black in it on screen, it just does not pick it up the same way it does in real life. And I'm trying yet another combination of natural light and ring light this week, and so I don't have the ring light right in front of me to kind of brighten it up today. Hopefully the shawl itself will show, you know, that you will be able to tell from the shawl itself. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, there you go. Now you can see pretty well. It's a bit blown out, but that gives you an idea of the colors. See, back here it just seems to disappear. Hard to find that real happy medium. Anyway, you can see it is getting bigger. The pattern states that they used, or that they did a total of 18 of these, sorry, this is just really not, doesn't work well. It alternates between garter stitch, let's try that again, garter stitch going back and forth, and then garter stitch going sideways with short rows. Oh, there's a good look at it. There's a good look at it. So they said they did a total of 18 of these short row stripes. I meant to count last night after I finished my latest one. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I have 15 now. I am trying to do one stripe a day. So either one stripe of the short rows or one stripe of the back and forth garter rows, and I've been keeping up pretty well. So if that continues, then okay, what is it today? The 24th, so that's 6 more days to the end of November. There's a possibility I could finish this by the end of November, if not early December. So, you know, that's okay. It's just going to have to be that way. One thing that I've noticed, which I think is really cool, is if you look at those short row stripes, I'm surprised at how the different colors are lining up. Do you see how the blues kind of run vertically in a straight line, and the purples and the black, like they just, it's surprising how much the colors have kind of lined up with each other over the whole scarf. Not something I expected, and they certainly aren't the same in the horizontal rows, but I think that's really cool. I think that adds to the look. So even though I find this really difficult to capture on camera, I hope that you at least get a sense of how cool this pattern is. Having said that, I am ready to be done. It's not that it's not enjoyable. I'm just ready to be done. I think you can all understand that we get that way with projects sometimes. So I will really be happy to see the finished product. They're definitely my colors. The yarn was a gift from my daughter, and I was actually showing her yesterday, because I went over and looked after my granddaughter for a couple of hours yesterday afternoon, and she's like, "Ooh, that's vibrant," and she said, "Yeah, they're definitely not my colors, but the jewel tones are my colors," and so I'm thrilled to finally have found a really cool pattern for that yarn, and look forward to wearing it. Okay, last week I showed you that I had cast on a pair. So I say a lot. I realize that I could try and stop, but it's so subconscious. It's pretty well impossible. And you know, when I hear other people doing it, it doesn't really bother me. So hopefully it doesn't bother you, but it's just something I just seem to do. Anyway, I cast on a pair of socks for my husband, which I am intending to give him for Christmas. I had used, or I'd pulled out skein number 9, I think, from my personal sock yarn club for this year. And when I took it out, I realized that this was more suited to him than me, and it seemed like a good excuse to knit him some socks for Christmas. So this is a skein of Sweet Fiber, Super Sweet Sock. This is from the Fall 2022 Sock Club, and this is Smolder. Can't tell if that's focusing or not. Anyway, it's an 80/20 superwash merino nylon sock yarn, and because my husband has pretty big feet, and because I'm always a little unsure of how far the yarn's going to go, I decided to do a toe-up sock. And I'm doing this bamboo rib patterning. I am using the kind of plug and play pattern from Chrissy Gardner's Socks from the Toe Up. They had it, that particular pattern had a 68 stitch size, which is what I've used. He sometimes finds the 72 stitch socks a bit loose, and so especially as during the day they loosen up, and so I'm trying 68 stitches. So I do have that much done on that sock, and I think, am I the same, or, oh, yep, I think, or my one pattern ahead on the other. No, I think I'm at the same point on both socks. I have been working on these when he's not around, or sometimes if he's downstairs in the evening watching TV and I'm upstairs, I'll pull them out and then have a different project ready to kind of pick up and put in my hands if he happens to come upstairs. So I'm just working on these as and when I can, and eventually they will be done. They will not get done in November, but I shouldn't have any trouble finishing them by Christmas. That's my intention anyway. And it's funny, anytime I say I shouldn't have any problem doing that, I just think of the last few years, and I think with the beginning of COVID and so much uncertainty in our lives, I've just accepted that, you know, some things are just out of our control, and you can have the greatest confidence in the world that you're going to get something done, and then, you know, something can throw you for a loop. So I should be able to get them done. We'll see. And finally, I have one more pair of socks. This was from bag 10 of my personal sock yarn club yarn. It's a skein from Fiber Nymph Dye Works. This was the day 25 skein from last year's Advent, and that collection was called The Art of Contrast. And this colorway is Midwinter Mountain Morning. So obviously, okay, what was I going to say? Even though I don't have a holiday countdown collection this year, it will be nice to be working on this at least during part of December. I am knitting 2 socks concurrently, like the others. And just for fun, because there's this narrow silver stripe in between all of the colors, I am knitting the first round plain, and then I'm switching to purl for the rest of that round before switching back to knitting when the colors come up. And it's just to do something a little more interesting. As I was organizing all of my winter and Christmas socks this morning in preparation for filming sock season, I realized that after gathering all of my Christmassy and what could be considered wintry socks, I am 1 pair short. And so I am hoping that I can finish this pair, and I would like to include it in week 11 because it kind of goes with the theme for the rest of that week, but it may have to make an appearance in week 12 or 13. Again, I should be able to finish this pair sometime in December. I'm going to try and make a point to do that, but you will hopefully see these featured during sock season in December also. Alrighty. There I go, saying again. I have some quilting to show you, but it's over there and I have a mess here. So I'm going to be putting this on pause, clean up a few things, and bring the quilting over to show you. So I will be back in a sec. I have had my sewing machine set up on our kitchen table for the past few days and have been doing some quilting whenever I get the chance. Last episode I showed you a quilt that I was making for our nephew's baby who was born back in March. And I've made some really good progress since then. In fact, I finished it yesterday. So I made this quilt called the, I think, October Sky Quilt from a kit that I got from Connecting Threads, which I think is a sister company to Knit Picks. And even though I didn't find the pattern as helpful as I would have liked, I am really happy with the overall finished product. So I'm going to show it to you, I think, in little bits and pieces. And because it's so large, I have taken some photos that I will put in here so that you can see it as a whole. So it's the kit is called Lal, L-A-L. It's a weird word to say. Lal the lamb. I think I might have said Lal the sheep last week. At least that's what I had written in my show notes in my book, and I'm not even sure what I put up on my, show notes online, but it's Lal the lamb. And so it has this at the top. This is the first time I've done any sort of piecing like this. And I should note that I actually changed the position of this fabric and this fabric because, as I mentioned last time, there weren't any sort of instructions or heads up or anything to ensure that all of your sheep in this section were all standing up the same way. And so by rearranging these pieces, I came to a fairly satisfactory end result, but that meant putting this color in the middle instead of the lighter. It's a minor thing, I don't mind at all. And I'll bring those closer so you can see the different fabrics. There you can see the border or the edging fabric, and I did a pattern stitch. Instead of hand sewing one edge of the binding around the whole quilt, I just did a pattern stitch, and that is a way you can finish off your binding without worrying about your just one stitch sort of looking bad on the other side. And plus I think it gives a lot of stability. I mean, that's not going anywhere. So anyway, there's the top, and then the middle part is a panel that features this Dresden plate pattern with the lamb in the middle. And then this repeats upside down on the bottom. I quilted around all of these pieces, and I stitched around the circle here. I went all around the circle or the flower here, and then I used a pattern stitch on all of these lines, and I stitched just a straight stitch on all these points. But that left this area unquilted, and even though technically the batting I used says you can leave up to 10 inches unquilted, I just had concerns about it, and I kind of debated over what to do, how to quilt it. I looked at the project from the website. They just did an all over free motion quilting over the whole quilt. I don't want my first free motion quilting to be on a big project like this, not to mention a gift. So what I ended up doing is just following, I used at my quilting guide, and I basically followed the lines from the petals every 2 inches. Oh, there you can see there. And as the further I got out, the less pronounced those little dips were. I think it looks nice. I like how it turned out, and now I'm satisfied that that area will be sufficiently quilted. So I will put pictures in here now so that you can see the quilt in its entirety. And now I'll just stand up and maybe give you I'll better talk in the camera so in case you're lip reading, you can hear me or know what I'm saying. I will now just show you the quilt here relatively close up so that you can get a good look at it all together too. Part of the time I had no idea what I was showing you. I was covering up the phone or camera. So hopefully you got a pretty good idea of what that quilt looks like. I am now just going to put this away, and I'll be right back to show you another quilt that I have been working on. What I didn't mention is that I backed that quilt with white flannelette. And between using the flannelette and the quilt batting, you should have seen our kitchen floor had little dust bunnies, little white dust bunnies all over the place. In fact, I had to vacuum it up once, and then I actually swept it up again this morning, and it's still not 100% done. But yeah, it's just been white lint everywhere. The top of the kitchen stove, the top of the microwave, anything that's kind of a dark, smooth surface, you can just see all the little bits of lint everywhere. So at the same time that I bought the lamb kit, I also bought, I don't remember what it was called, but it was a quilt panel with some backing fabric and binding fabric featuring some woodland animals. And I just snapped it up because it was a good price, and I thought it would be a good thing to have on hand for when another great niece or nephew arrives. And since that time, we've learned that another nephew and his wife are going to have their second child in April, and it's a boy. So I thought, while I had the sewing machine in the kitchen and all of my quilting things out, I might as well go ahead and make this quilt now, and then it's done and ready for when the baby's born next year. And it's really cute. Much smaller. I was not expecting the lamb to be quite as large as it turned out to be. This is more of a crib size baby quilt. So I'll show you the whole panel in a second, but you can see it features some woodland animals and then these mushrooms and flowers. This is the backing fabric. And then this is the binding fabric. So again, those mushrooms and flowers. So what I ended up doing is, I'm going to stand up here. Oh, but then I can't, you won't be able to see me talk. I'm going to talk about it and then I'll stand up and show you. What I ended up doing is quilting around all of the border edges. And then I also quilted around all of the animals. And that way there's a good amount of quilting all over the quilt. So I will show you the whole thing, but I'm going to stand up to do that. You won't see it all in one shot, but I'll scroll through it so you can see all the cute different animals. So that's sweet. The only thing I still have to do is one more antler on the deer here. And then all the quilting will be done and I can go ahead and trim it and put the binding. One thing I was not happy with at all is this is a quilt panel. And so there are, you know, dotted or dashes along the lines where you are supposed to cut the panel. And unfortunately, on this side, started out cutting along the proper line and then it gradually got narrower. This is 5/8 of an inch narrower up here than down here, which means I'm going to have to take off 5/8 of an inch on each side in order to make this border the same width all the way around. That really annoyed me. It's not rocket science to cut a panel. Unfortunately, I did not realize that until I pulled it out to work with it, or I may have reached out to Connecting Threads back when I bought it to complain and potentially get an exchange on it. Again, first world problem. I try and look at life that way, but at the same time it is annoying. There's no getting around it. I was saying to my husband last night that if I realized there were moles on this quilt, I might not have bought it. Just kidding. But if you've watched for a while, you know we have a long history with moles in our yard. And on that front, I'm happy to report that after about 1.5 years of false hopes, we finally caught one in one of our mole traps just about a week ago or so. We've had lots of times when the trap has gone off, when it's been sprung and we haven't caught anything. So finally, and I'm hoping it's the only one around and maybe our yard will remain molehill free over the winter and have some time to recover. Often there is only one in an area, so we'll see. But yes, that's what they look like if you're wondering. They have these big kind of paddly hands that they dig the dirt with. Anyway, they do look cute in, you know, caricature form. But moles are not my favorite animal, as you might have guessed. All right, as for what's up and coming, as I look ahead to December. So as I mentioned, I would really love to finish my midwinter mountain morning socks. I would like to finish Cameron's socks. This is the yarn, my December yarn for the Yarn of the Month Club, which is a beautiful skein of String Theory Caper Sock, which is a merino cashmere nylon blend. It's in the SWK red colorway. This is a gift from a knitting podcast Ravelry friend, which I've been treasuring and trying to find the right project for. And I believe the SWK in the colorway stands for the store where she bought it, because I believe, if I remember correctly, this was an exclusive colorway for the store. I'll see if I can dig into that and see if I remember the name of the store. Anyway, it is gorgeous, and red is my favorite color, and so I just need to find the perfect project to show it off. I suspect it will be some sort of neck thing, either a cowl or a small shawl, because yeah, it's soft enough. I want it around my neck, and then I also want it, you know, to be able to be seen. That's the plan, the sort of tentative plan at the moment. Next time I record, I should hopefully have something already begun. A couple of other things that I'm thinking about working on in December. One is potentially casting on, whoops, I'm losing things. They're slipping and falling. I have all of these Christmas yarns to knit up. Not all this year, obviously, but I'd like to pick one and work on it during December. So this is my newest West Yorkshire Spinners skein. This is Nutcracker. This I think is gingerbread. These are all the Christmas colorways from different years. This is Silent Night. And this one is Vintage Tinsel. So I have 3 sparkly ones, 1 plain one. So I have those to knit up for Christmas. And then I also have another sparkly skein. This skein of Flotte Sock. This is color 2802. And I also have leftovers from last year's Victorian Christmas socks that I knit up. So the yarn is Leo and Roxy. It's called Victorian Christmas. It's, yeah, Leo and Roxy 80/20 sock. Victorian Christmas is the colorway. I knit a pair of stripy socks from this last year, along with these mini skeins of sweet fiber yarn that I got as part of my holiday sock club set. So I have enough left to do a pair of, main color socks with heels, toes, and cuffs in these colors. So I guess that makes what, 4, 5, 6 more pairs of holiday socks potentially that I, can knit up. Obviously not all in December, but over the next few years. So I think once I finish my mid-winter mountain morning ones, I'll cast on that. I think I already said that, didn't I? So that's one thing I want to work on. And then the other thing I want to work on during December, and I've kind of just accepted that probably I will not be working on any of my sweaters this month. I want to work on my blanket of cheer. I started this early this year with last year's holiday countdown collection from Fiber Nymph Dye Works. And what I've been doing is knitting these mitered squares. Most of the tonal or semi-solid parts of the square are from last year's Art of Contrast mini collection. And then I am using leftovers from my numerous skeins of self-striping Fiber Nymph Dye Works yarn. So I'm using the Bounce base, I'm using the Mountain Tweed base. Oh, how convenient. These are all just stacked up. I didn't plan this. And the Bedazzled base. I don't know if you can see the shine, the sheen, the glitter in that one. But I was so enthralled with this project when I first started, and it's just been neglected for the vast majority of this year. So I'm going to make a point of working on these during December and using last year's minis. So I'm hoping that will kind of compensate for not opening a new Advent set this year. I really thought about it and just decided to use what I already had. So I've got all sorts of, this was a gift from a lovely knitting friend, you know who you are, and it's perfect because look at all the colors. Just matches the whole tone of this. So what I've been keeping in here is lots of little balls that I've rolled up, and then I have some mitered squares that I've already knit up, some plain ones, and then I have, pardon the reach, I have a whole baggie of squares or blocks that are ready for their border. And I have this bag which came with last year's holiday mini collection, and in here I have all of my self-striping leftovers. I have some other blocks that are already finished that I need to put with the others. And then I also have all these minis that I still haven't wound up from last year's collection. So, you know, I definitely have lots of fun still left in this collection. And I'm hoping once it's all done and I've used up the amount of the plain ones that I'm able to for the squares, I'm hoping I have enough left over of each color to do a pair of scrappy Advent socks, because I have made a pair from each of my collections to date, and I'd really love to be able to have one of those. So I guess that gives me yet another Christmas or holiday sock to knit in the future. All right, I am gonna, again, just tidy this up for a couple of minutes. I think my tea is probably needing warming up. Yes, I'm gonna do that, and then I'll come back and talk a little bit about what's been going on this past week and what is to come next week. So see you in a minute. It's coming up on 4 o'clock and the sun's starting to go down, so I'm hoping to finish this up before I lose my outdoor light completely. As I mentioned last episode, I had a lot of curling to do this week. In addition to my 2 regular games that I play every week, I've also been sparing for my oldest sister, who is down in Jamaica with her husband for a holiday. And then I also took part in a bonspiel last Friday and Saturday, which turned out to be a ton of fun. We had 4 games between the 2 days. We had a fantastic game Friday morning, or Saturday morning, I should say. Everybody was on and making all their shots. Pretty good game Friday morning, which we also won, and then the afternoon games didn't go quite as well, so we ended up 2-2 for the weekend. But overall, it was a lot of fun. In addition to having a nice dinner on Saturday after we finished curling, there were also different opportunities to win prizes like 50/50 tickets, and they had raffles towards some really nice gift baskets, and then just some fun games that we played during dinner. So yeah, just a great time overall. And the best part was I was home just after 6 o'clock on Saturday evening, which was a good thing because, as I suspected, I was coming down with a cold, thanks to my husband passing along his. He said he didn't want it anymore. So it was good to be able to just kind of hunker in for the evening and not have to get up and play a game on Sunday morning, which often happens with bonspiels. As it turned out, we had invited our son and daughter-in-law over for lunch on Sunday because we hadn't seen them for a while, and Knew we wouldn't have much opportunity going forward because our daughter-in-law is going to be inundated with report cards. So we had a good visit with them, and then after they left, we went over to our daughter's house. Our grandson turned 13 on Tuesday, so we wanted to see him and take him his birthday present. So we had a good visit there with everyone. It was also our brother-in-law's birthday on Tuesday. He and our grandson share a birthday. Unfortunately, his wasn't as much fun because he had come down with COVID a few days prior, and was unable to enjoy the birthday chocolate that I sent along with his socks. But he's feeling quite a bit better as of this morning, about 85% better, whereas my sister, his wife, is now kind of in the throes of her bout of COVID. I guess Ed didn't want his COVID anymore, so gave it to her. So yeah, unfortunately, not a great week for the two of them. But he seemed happy with his socks, so that's good. They arrived in plenty of time. Let me look at my notes. What else is going on? Yeah, coming up. So tomorrow, it's Saturday, and I'm going to be taking part in a charity volleyball tournament that we usually join in every year. It's for children, so you have an entry fee, and then you take an unwrapped gift. So that ensures that a large number of children have hopefully a merrier Christmas than they would have otherwise. We have 3 games to play tomorrow morning, and then we'll likely all go out for lunch afterwards. This, a lot of the people that we'll be playing with, or I should say I'll be playing with, Cameron has a sore arm, and so he's not going to be playing, but he will come and cheer us on, and he can keep score. But yeah, a lot of these friends we also play ball with or have played ball with in the past, and haven't seen them for a while. So it'll be a good chance to all get together. And then if one bonspiel wasn't enough, we, Cameron and I, are both going to be in another bonspiel next weekend. Some friends at the curling rink asked us if we wanted to join them in a seniors bonspiel in the next town over. And I got a similar format to the one I just participated in. 2 games Friday, 2 games Saturday, all during the day, but then there's one on Sunday morning also. So that should be fun. We did a bonspiel with them a few years ago, and really clicked. We had a lot of good games together and did quite well, and also enjoyed playing with them. So I'm looking forward to that. Prior to that, the Thursday, which is when I normally would record, we are going to be helping our son and his girlfriend move into their new condo. So her parents are coming over from, they live on one of the Gulf Islands, kind of between here and Vancouver Island, and they're going to come over and help, so we're going to join them. And actually, that'll be a good thing, because it'll be nice to get to know them better. We've met her mom, I guess, 3 times now, I think, but her dad just once, and we've never spent time with them together as a couple. So I think that'll be a good way to kind of get to know each other a little bit better, and I'm anxious to see their new condo. It looks gorgeous in pictures, so I'm sure the real thing is even better. So happy for them, and happy to obviously help them out. All right, let me just take a look, make sure I've got everything. Yes. So that just leaves something good, and it's something very good, which I've suspected was going to happen for a while, but didn't want to say until it was official. So if you've watched for a while, you will know that my husband's company does an incentive trip for their customers. Normally it runs every 2 years, usually in the fall. And then COVID messed everything up. So we went to Mexico to an all-inclusive last fall. And normally the next trip wouldn't be till the fall, like 2 years later. But this January, in just, I guess, a month and a half, we are going on a cruise to South America. So we begin in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and then we have 2 stops in Uruguay, and then I forget how many stops in Brazil, ending in Rio de Janeiro. So it promises to be a pretty fantastic trip. We spent yesterday evening picking out our excursions. His company gave us a very generous allowance towards excursions, and then that allowed us to pick something in every port and not have to spend a lot of our own money towards it. So it's just a real treat for us. It is a working holiday. We go as hosts. We host a table for dinner every evening, and we're expected to, you know, be ambassadors for the company and schmooze, basically. We've just seen the world through this. I've lost count of how many cruises we've been on, or trips that we've been on. The first one was in 1999, and it's been more or less one every 2 years since then. So definitely looking forward to this one. It will likely be my husband's last one because he is hoping to retire in a couple of years. But what a way to go. So yeah, that's very exciting. It also means January is going to look little discombobulated between the end of the holidays and then the trip in the middle of it. So I'm also going to have to give some thought to how I'm going to work out make-alongs and stuff in January. But we don't have to worry about that right now. Anyway, I think that is it. I have caught up on correspondence and comments. I am still woefully behind in the Ravelry group. I'm hoping to remedy that maybe on Sunday because I'll have some free time. I think we're going to put the Christmas lights up if the weather's decent. And of course we'll have to do some grocery shopping. But other than that, I'm hoping to have some free time on Sunday and get caught up there too. Right now I have to go get this kind of uploading to my computer and then go pick up a toy to take to the volleyball tomorrow. So that's what the rest of my day looks like. And it's Friday night, so it's technically appy night, but I'm actually going to make some seafood chowder for dinner. So I'll do that later on after I get going on editing this. So anyway, I will definitely not be recording next week, hopefully the following week. So again, if you have been participating in the Yarn of the Month Club for October, make sure that you get your project finished up and posted in that thread, and I'll draw prizes for that and the Another Year of Stash on my next regular episode. So take care until then. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all your comments and participation. And I hope to see you again very soon. Oh, and watch for sock season on Sunday. Bye for now.